Hello, everyone. I'm the one some people call the Master. And if you don't want to call me the Master, you can just call me Fred. Frederick here with another upload of A Moment of Truth. I hope everyone is doing okay. I hope that your family and your loved ones are doing okay also. I hope everything is going well for you. Uh, this may be one of those videos where I look like one of those 1970s, 1980s karate movies where my audio is going before the video. The words are going before my mouth moving. But that's okay as long as you get the message. And I know you're probably a little intrigued by the title itself, but that's okay. I got it from the old question that I think most, if not all of us, have heard. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? So that's where I got the title from. Which came first, Jesus or Kermit the Frog? And of course, I know y'all are going to say, well, of course, Jesus did. Why are you even asking that? And then I'm just going to make it contemporary. Because, of course, we know the Kermit the Frog post that we see on Facebook where, someone asks a question, a rhetorical question, or makes some statements. And then the last part of the post, you got the picture of Kermit the Frog sipping tea saying, but that ain't my business. So we're going to answer that. Who came first? Who did it first, Jesus or Kermit the Frog? I want to first go to a passage of scripture in the book of Luke, chapter 12, I believe, where Jesus is teaching. And this man comes up out of the crowd. I think maybe he even interrupted Jesus teaching. And he asked Jesus, he said, Lord, make my brother share the inheritance with me. Make him share my father's inheritance with me. Now, don't know why this man was asking. Apparently, he asking because he didn't get it, or didn't get a bigger portion of it than what he wanted or what he expected. But Jesus' answer or response is straightforward, honest, but it's also a little intriguing because maybe some of us think that Jesus would have investigated a little bit more. Probably think Jesus would have asked the man, okay, let me hear you out first. What kind of father do you have? I mean, does he want that just showed favoritism, just showed, partiality, like your brother over you? Or does your father have Alzheimer's or suffering from the early stages of dementia? Or suffering from bipolarism? If bipolarism is a word, I know bipolar is, but if you add the ism, I guess maybe that, causes it to be a disease or something, I guess. But anyway, or what kind of brother do you have? Is your brother not nice enough to share with you? Or is he greedy? Because if he's greedy, then we need to deal with that. Or Jesus could have asked, hey, what kind of man are you? Why didn't your father give you the money or split it with you or evenly? Does he not trust you with it? Or, hey, he doesn't think you're ready for it? But Jesus didn't say that. Jesus said, man, who made me a ruler or a judge over you? Who made me an arbitrator over you? In so many words, Jesus said, dude, that ain't none of my business. And that's what we do sometimes. We bring the Lord things sometimes, and we want him to honor it. We want him to bless it. We want him to favor it. And sometimes Jesus has to tell us the same thing. You have to tell us, that's not any of my business. Because if it's not motivated by me, if it's not created by me or initiated by me, if it has nothing to do with me, my will, my purpose, and my design, then it's none of my business. And it's not going to get my honor. It's not going to get my favor, my blessing, or my approval. And I'm not going to be a part of it. And sometimes we do that. Sometimes we bring God something that is motivated by our own desires, our own greed, or our own wants. And he says, man, that's none of my business, because it's not motivated by me, has absolutely nothing to do with who I am, my character, my will, my purpose for you. And so he has to pull the tea drinking. Jesus has to sometimes pull the tea drinking and say, hey, that's none of my business, and I'm not going to get part of it. There's a scripture in 1 John that says that if we ask anything according to his will, and that's the key. That's the key, and that's of utmost paramount to the scripture. If we ask anything according to his will, he will hear us, and we have confidence in that. But that's key. But a lot of times we like to leave out that part, that small little part right there. According to his will. It has to be according to his will. Just like sometimes we leave out, a lot of people leave out 2 Timothy 2:19, where it says that this is a sure seal, and it stands, that the Lord knows those who are his. And then we stop and we leave the rest of it off. The rest of it says and, which means also or in addition to. And let him who names the name of Christ depart from iniquity, depart from sin. And we like to leave some of that stuff off sometimes. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about. That's what happens, guys. That things have to be according to God's will. Things like that, not his business. But Jesus intervening in people's personal choices or decisions like that of the Father, who apparently gave either the entire inheritance or the vast majority of the inheritance to another brother. Not his business. He's not going to get into it. Same as when we bring something to him that's based on our own desires, our own greed, our own motives. He's not going to bless it. He's not going to favor it. It's none of his business. Now, also, secondly, there's another passage of scripture, I believe in Luke chapter 10, if I'm not mistaken, where Mary and Martha, who were friends of Jesus, and if we are familiar with Mary and Martha, we know that they are the sisters of Lazarus, the man Jesus raised from the dead, I believe in John chapter 11. But in this particular instance, they invited Jesus to their house, and Jesus was teaching, and I'm sure there were crowds there, his disciples, number one, Mary and Martha, and I'm sure other crowds there in the house and maybe outside of the house listening and so forth. And Martha was serving tables, waiting tables. And Mary, her sister, was not. She was sitting at the feet of Jesus listening to his teaching. And Martha was, the scripture says, distracted with serving tables. Now, nothing wrong with her serving. It's supposed to be hospitable. It's supposed to show hospitality. But Martha had a problem, not because she was doing it, but because Mary wasn't helping her. And Martha asked Jesus, told Jesus, Lord, don't you see me doing all this work by myself? I'm serving, I'm making sure you're good, and making sure all the visitors and guests are good. Make Mary help me. Command her to help me. Don't you care about that? And again, Jesus had a response for her. He said, Martha, you're concerned and distracted about too many things, but Mary has chosen the best part, and it's what's necessary, and that won't be taken away from her. Now, again, nothing wrong with Mary cleaning and serving and food or drink or even the tea that Jesus was drinking. But again, Jesus was saying, Martha, your cleaning and your serving ain't none of my business right now. Because my business is to do the will of the Father, of my Father, not yours. Now, that's something that Jesus said to her in quote unquote so many words in our contemporary Kermit the Frog usage. That's what Jesus told her. Your cleaning isn't my business right now. And I'm not going to override Mary's choice and her will, because I gave her free will just like I gave you one. I'm not going to override it and command her to help you clean and to help you serve. Now, here's the other part of that, a little deeper than that. Apparently, Mary knew that Martha was upset with her. And apparently, and this is just conjecture on my part, I think Martha probably even mentioned it to Mary. Well, are you going to get up and help me? Or whether it was verbally or just, giving her some looks. You know how we can give people looks sometimes, you going to help me or what? I need some help here. Or something like that. And you know what Mary did? You know what Mary said? What her response was? It's not in there. But you know what the response was? Martha, cleaning up and serving ain't none of my business right now. I'm listening to the Lord. That ain't none of my business. And guys, there are some things that just not our business at certain times. And we can be distracted with things that just aren't our business at times. Not meaning that they're always bad. It's not so much bad things that are going on that we can be distracted by. Although the distraction itself certainly wouldn't be convenient. But how often are we distracted by Facebook? And we're on Facebook hours upon hours, and we're not at the feet of the Lord for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day. But we can get on Facebook and stay on there for hours. Or movies. Or songs, music. Or something. Distracted, books. And we can take time and even plan time to engage in all of these different, medias, so that we can take in something. Getting in somebody's business on Facebook, finding out somebody's business on Facebook. Who got the new music out right now? Watching some movie just to see that TV scandal. What's going on with Scandal? What's going on Empire? And what's going on with the Real Housewives of fill in the blank? And there's a scripture that Paul uses, I believe in Titus and in Thessalonians, where he says to teach the people to mind their own business, work with their own hands and mind their own business. And guys, that's not just, physically going out being nosy. We can be nosy and not minding our own business by engaging, and especially excessively with TV shows, with Facebook or so forth. And Mary said, no, I'm doing what I need to do right now. And that is to sit at the feet of Jesus and listen and to take in and to learn, to be taught, to be disciplined. So that ain't none of my business. And I think that's a good lesson for us to know even today. A lot of times those things aren't our business, to find out who's doing what on whatever TV show. Doesn't matter what it is, or in the music or entertainment field or land or whatever. Those things aren't our business. So we find out that Jesus was the first. Jesus came first with that ain't none of my business, not Kermit the Frog. So I hope this was helpful today, and I hope that this encourages you as well as it does me. I said in my introduction that when I'm on here talking, teaching, or whatever I'm doing, I'm teaching myself also. But I hope that this encourages you to slim down some things, streamline some things in our lives to where we can move the distractions away from us, cut them out, and sit at the feet of Jesus, mind our own business and sit at the feet of Jesus and learn from him. As always, the gig is up at 12 o'clock midnight, and it's 11:59 p.m.